Thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Welcome back, everybody. Today, back with us, we have Bobby from Ghost Stop. I do have to ask, though, since you do get to test all of these things, what would you say your all-time favorite piece of equipment is and why?
Honestly, I know it sounds because I've been promoting it, but I love this dead bell. It's been working crazy, like on cue wherever I've been going. And
Yep,
it's just,
it's on my wish list.
because I get EVPs too. When the bell was going off at the park house we were at, Tina had asked, she was walking through things, is there anyone here want to play with us? Because there's kids. You hear a little boy go, hello, like real quiet, hello, hi, hey, that's us for this day.
I think that's usually Philip's ball, though. He's an older guy that kind of hangs out. He really likes
But
Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are.
But right now, I know it sounds like I'm promoting, but honestly,
Hey,
quite
I
a bit
wouldn't
of
ask the question if I
yeah,
didn't want the answer.
it's just a dead bell. It's just so simple, and I just like that it dings. You know what it
Mhm.
reminds me of? I don't know if did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No.
There's a thing there. This old man in a wheelchair. He couldn't talk. He had a bell, and if it was a yes, you go ding ding. That's what I think of this old man in a wheelchair dinging this bell to me when I'm asking questions. But can I tell you something quick?
Yeah.
I got ADHD.
Me.
And when you said earlier, you don't allow negative things, I thought you said naked things, naked spirits here. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. Cause I did a show about how come you don't ever see streaking spirits, naked spirits. Someone had to die naked at some point.
This is
Why have we not?
monster.
And the debate was, I was doing it live.
Okay.
But
Sorry, I totally had that before you even said it, and
well,
I was so excited. I've been doing that a lot lately. It's creeping me out, but I have the same thought is if you see something, if it wants you to see it, it is going to portray itself in a way that it wants to. What is beside me? Something's beside me. But I feel like it's going to show up the way it wants to show up.
yeah,
Now, unless it's like a pervy ghost, it's not probably, most people don't want to be, I'd probably show up naked just 'cause I don't like clothes. But
I'd be streaking. I love that streaking ghost. What I tell people too, you think about,
you,
ah, um,
great.
but like a lot of people think about it when you're at a really old location, when people do see something, they always say they're in Victorian dresses and that because you're there subconsciously. You might not be doing it, but subconsciously you're thinking
Hmm.
about people from that day and time. So the spirit's like, I guess that's how we're supposed to dress to show them. The other thing I always joke around is how come we don't see people died in the 80s? How come we don't see anybody with a members only jacket or something weird? I didn't wear it members only. I
That is a
wore
good question.
But I always joked around about the streaking thing because if it's something I'm visualizing, let me tell you, I visualized naked women's spirits and it hasn't happened.
Now, but who's to say that sometimes when you see an apparition, but you only see part of it, who's to say it's not naked?
That's true too. Because have you ever seen an apparition? Full?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I've seen it once only, and I didn't know it was a ghost. We were at a mental hospital
Oh,
down in South Miami, and there's three or four teens there working together in different wings.
yeah.
And the wing we were in, I heard we were doing EVP session and stuff. I heard noise from the main lobby, and I said, "Oh man, it's probably another team. Let's go." I took a team member. Let's go tell them, "Hey, we're down here. Keep it quiet."
Yeah.
So I come into the lobby, and I see it looked like someone with a flashlight walking into the other wing. I told you someone's here. Let me go tell them. I go into that wing. There's nowhere out but past me, and my friend stayed in the lobby. I'm up and down looking, and now I think someone's screwing with me, hiding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, everyone there is pretty cool. They want to do stuff like this. So also they come out, I go, did someone come up, get past me? They're like, no. Then I'm all, holy crap. That wasn't a person. That was a ghost. But you can see the whole body, but it looked like they had a flashlight in front of them because they
Yeah.
had a little bit of a glow. So that was cool.
I've had a little girl that I saw, and it was when I was younger, and I thought my little sister had a friend over. So I went and asked my mom, if my sister had a friend over and she's like, no. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, if there was another kid in my house, I would know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just saw one. Come to find out, I wasn't the first one or the only one. My mom had seen her. My aunt had seen her. A lot of people had seen the same girl in the same house in different
Awesome.
places. And then I saw a man I saw him, but it was weird. It was like, I saw him in a mirror, but he was standing behind me,
Yeah.
but my back was to a door. So that was creepy. And then
Have
there's,
you ever seen a shadow person?
oh my God, I am reading your fucking mind. My next sentence is going to be, I've seen some shadow people. That was what was next.
I've seen, like, when you have an occasion out of the corner of your eye, you see something moving, but
Oh,
I seen a full shadow person.
mm-hmm.
I had just laid down in bed and I had my arms around my head like this. I was relaxing. You know how when you close your eyes, there was a night light out in my living room. You
Mm-hmm.
can still see the light through your eyelids a bit.
Yep.
And I was just
Yep.
starting to relax. And all of a sudden it got dark. And I was like, the hell? I opened my eyes and it was like a 6-foot guy standing next to my bed. My instinct was someone got in the house. So I popped up to punch and pop out of bed to fight. As I punched through, I went right through it, just about popped my arm out of socket, went out of the bed
Oh,
and hit the ground because that's
you
how
really
dark the
thought it,
shadow,
yeah.
it was blocking the light. And I thought someone was in my house. Then I was all
Got
excited.
it.
Oh my God, that's a shadow, man.
So I've had, well, one, I don't think it was a shadow person. I have one that, just tell me about it. I'm pretty sure it was a straight up fucking demon. There was no humanity behind this thing. It was just,
Yeah.
and I had a stare down for a solid minute at least. And then actually, when I went to Ohio State Reformatory, only for me, aw, my God, I love you and only for you. So apparently something loves me or you. It's one of us. But I went up into the attic and we were walking to the back and immediately everything stood up. I felt awful. I was like, something is behind us. And I was with a friend and we both turned around because who doesn't turn around to look, right? I'd be perfect for a horror film. God. But we turn around and it looked like the old timey, you see them a lot on like farms in like Western homes. You always see like a homestead, right? And it looks like the silhouette of a cowboy leaning up against something with his knee bent. You know what I'm talking about? With his little hat
Yeah.
down. Okay. It looked just like that, minus the hat. And it was just posted right next to the only entryway and exit. There's one door in and out, and it was right next to it, just leaned up against it. And we were
Yeah.
both looking at it. We were like, what do we do? So we turned around again, and I was like, okay. I was like, I understand. You don't want us in here. I can feel it. I know. I said, we will leave, but you have to move. I'm like,
Yeah.
we understand. We know you don't want us in here. I promise we will leave, but you have to get away from the door. I said, because we will not walk through there until you move. And we turned back around and it was gone and we got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Whole lot of nope.
It's funny you saying that, you know, you thought it was a demon. A friend of mine, he passed, now it might be 3 years now. His name was Tim Yancey. Awesome person in the paranormal field. He used to do a lot of residential violent
Mhm.
hauntings and that, trying to help families. And the biggest thing he used to tell me, or he did in his lectures, instead of, if you're talking with a family in that, instead of calling it a demon, because he goes, when you tell someone they got a demon or like a level 5 demon or a level 20 demon, he goes, that just takes all hope away from them. So instead of a demon, he called it a
Yeah.
parasite. Because he goes, honestly, that's what it is. It's sucking the energy off of these people, the fear and everything, you know what I mean? And
It's attached to me, actually.
oh, really?
I saw it when I was 15. It's actually the first paranormal experience I ever had
Oh,
was seeing it. And I mean, I had weird stuff that happened, but nothing that was like smack you in the face until I saw this thing. And then it actually, like at the beginning of this year, came back. I saw it again. And it had been like 15 years.
my friend Tim would tell me the biggest thing or way to battle them is laughter.
Well, what's
Bring laughter,
interesting,
joy, and just goofiness.
yeah, I kind of talk because I do that all the time. Maybe that's why it didn't come back because that's what I do. But I thought was interesting was it never. it didn't really do anything like physically. I think it did bloody my nose once, but because I actually apologized and said I would stop talking about it, and then my nose quit bleeding and everything was fine. So it just
Hmm.
didn't want me talking about it. Oh yeah, and then the entire video from that entire episode also just erased itself.
Oh, isn't it crazy when stuff like that
I
happens?
even had a guest and they saw it happen. They
Really?
saw it happen to me, and then when I went back to look at it,
It was
it
just
was just
gone.
gone. Yep, just blank screen. You could still hear us, but it was all black. But
That's
we've
a
had
big.
weird stuff. What?
I was gonna say that's a big phenomenon happening with either video or audio, just
Yep.
going white noise. Have you had that happened before? That happened to me a long time ago, where we had
I've
an
had
event happen.
distorted.
Oh, distorted.
Yeah, like it just gets like all of a sudden it sounds like I'm like underwater or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then it just stopped. I had to redo the whole thing,
Shit, this is crazy.
and everything
When
was the same.
when we were investigating this house in Florida, it was weird. I'm sitting in there with an investigator. We were with our team, Florida Ghost Team, and we're sitting there. It was just me and another investigator, and also it sounded like someone was trying to break in on the window. We were newer to the team, so I thought someone was like
Yeah,
initiating. So I got up. I didn't do a flashlight. Moved through the house to get to that room because I wanted to see
yeah.
if someone was
Speak
messing.
up.
I get right when I get into the room, it stopped. And I'm like, what the heck? So then I asked my friend Michelle, I go, hey, look at the front door. Do you see the people that were there? Yeah, they're out in the parking lot smoking. I'm like, I go, oh my God, we got that on audio. I'm so excited. So they come in, I go to play it back. You hear us talking.
Uh,
And then right when the event happened, white noise. And then right when they started talking to us, 'cause I kept recording, I was like, son of a gun,
You
something.
dick bag.
I was so excited because it sounded like someone was trying to
Yeah,
break into this house we were in. But it happens. I always tell people that too, because some people are like, I just think the equipment broke. I go, no, sometimes spirits do stuff like that. Some can do it.
yeah.
We,
It's
you know,
and I feel like a lot of times people just assume that a spirit is a spirit and they all do the same thing. But I feel like for whatever reason, some are different. So some maybe you don't hear them, but you see them, right? They're going to be your full
yeah,
body apparition ones. Some of them maybe they haven't figured out or they don't have the ability to, but maybe they can do the audio
yeah,
EVPs. Like I feel like different ones do different things, and that's why I tell people all the time: if you're investigating, use different, take a variety. All right, you might have a go-to. I love my cat balls.
yeah,
I like the cat balls because if you're somewhere like right here where I'm at, I am enclosed, no windows, no doors, no nothing. I'm just
yeah,
in a box. There's no wind, there's nothing. I know that I have equipment that could set things off, so I don't want that in here because I don't want
yeah,
to do it. But the balls, you have to physically touch it to make it go.
yeah.
So it's like I trained my ghost to hit the balls because that was what I could use.
You took all the variables out of stuff that naturally can do, like you said, equipment and that. Technically, you got to control the. Oh my lord, give it a
I know what
break.
you're saying, like a chamber.
Yeah, it's which is good because then for you, if something happens, this definitely
And it's
has
like I
to
tell people
be.
too, like this, because people ask me, because you can't tell how far back this is. I can't, I'm not even close to reaching anything.
Yeah,
I can't touch it. The thing behind me is up against a brick wall.
it's funny you say that because when that cat ball went off, I thought, is he barking maybe?
Nope,
But
yep, nope.
that's
I
funny
could even
because
sit in my whole seat. Nothing, nothing. So, and
that's
that's what I tell
funny.
people too, because I'm like, I've had a couple people ask, but I tried to get rid of everything that could be a problem. I tell people too, every place is different, every ghost is different, and you never know.
But just like people, like us,
Exactly.
they have different personalities.
Maybe you like
Um,
spaghetti and I don't.
yeah, like that. I used to tell people too, if something negative happens, it doesn't mean it's a demon.
Maybe they just
People
don't
when
fucking
if
like
they're a
you.
negative person on this side of the veil, when they cross over, they don't become the Holy Ghost sometimes. They're still kind of a
Exactly.
douchebag.
Thank you. It's a hard time. That's what it just told me. It's like, yep, you're right. It's a hard time over here. And but I have one it's a creep. For
Yeah.
starters, it would touch me. I would be laying down in bed. I sleep with a head thing on. And let's just say at one point, I thought my husband was trying to start something.
That's awesome.
And I paused, but I was talking to him but he never responded. I was like, honey, I'm like, what do you want? Because it like grabbed it felt like somebody just put their hand on like my foot while I was laying in bed. And I was like, and so I was like, hey, do you need anything? And nothing. I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe you just wanted to touch my foot. But then it was like my ankle. And it just felt like somebody just had their hand around my ankle. And I was like, honey, did you need something? Nothing. Then it was like my calf, the back of my knee. And then it was like holding my thigh,
Oh,
like
that's
the back of
funny.
my thigh. I sleep in a baggy t-shirt. So it's not like I have a whole lot.
Yeah.
And it felt like a hand was on me. Oh God. It literally just said, it's what we want.
Uh,
Oh,
it's funny you say that
mm,
because saying creepers, I've been at location where it's a creeper ghost and we let the ladies talk because the experience there
there.
was he liked to touch the ladies. So these two ladies were investigating. All of a sudden they started going, we're massage therapists. Do you
Yep.
want me? So the one started massaging the other one's shoulders. I'm sitting in the back. Do you mind us doing it? I'm like, do whatever you want. I know. Hit the cameras out. But the thing is, though, while they were doing it, they would ask, do you like this? All the equipment, the big one. So I understand what you're saying that,
Yeah.
like you're saying, personality, there are creepy spirits.
Yeah.
They may have been a perv on this side of the veil,
Mhm.
but still a perv on the other side.
And I mean,
And then you
like
got
at one point,
residuals.
yeah, like I said, it was hand was on my thigh, and I took my headband off because I felt there was someone's hand on me. And I took my headband off and I turned around expecting my husband to be standing next to me, and there was nothing there. But I still felt the hand on my I was like, you need to get off me. I was
Yeah.
like, you are not allowed to touch me. That's not okay. This is not cool. And yeah. I had one the other day on my box. It was saying, it was like, I need it. And then I got bangable. And then it said, do you want it? And then it said, it's hard. It was like dirty talking me. Like, sorry, what? I was like,
You're
you
like,
need to leave, sir. I was like, I ain't got time for this shit.
it's funny you say stuff like this. When I did paranormal wavelengths, I'd have one show would be you, my viewers, are my guests tonight. And I'd tell people to send me audio, pictures, and that. And I would share them and let the chat group decide on pictures, like trying to debunk it maybe to help them. My one friend said, I got a funny audio. It was at the jail. And I'm like, okay. They send it to me. They didn't tell me what it was. They sent it to me. It sounds like a couple having sex. And I'm like, so my instinct was, I go, oh my God, was this someone on your team? Like, do it? You call me? They're like, no, there was nobody in the jail except me and one other lady, and no one else was there. And we didn't hear nothing. We just sat like this. But we listened, we're like, oh my gosh, someone was going at it.
God, I would be
And
that kind of ghost. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
so I thought she was messing with me when she said it, or that she caught someone else. Because there has been
Yeah.
times where people do stuff they forget there's cameras. I set cameras in rooms, and it's, do you not see the little red lights? It's filming. So
Yeah.
some people aren't the smartest with that. I always look to see where a camera is,
Mhm.
just because I don't want to be standing with my ass in front of it. Because this one lady at an event, this is years ago, she sat right in front of her camera, butt crack hanging out. We're like, 'cause this is so long ago, is when everybody was replicating ghost hunters and you had your what was a DVR system
Yeah.
and you had someone monitoring. I'm monitoring the
And all these butt
screens.
crack.
And I'm like, this lady, does she have her camera? So and everybody from the team looking, oh my God. And then she had a bag she carried. And we're like, what do you think she has in the bag? Because I admit she was a little weird. And we're like, what do you think she has in the bag? I don't know. Also, she pulls it out. It was like a boombox from the 80s when I was a kid. She pulls it out, sets it, presses. We used to press record to record off the radio songs.
Yeah.
He would go, is there anybody? I'm like, she brought a huge boombox to record even pieces. It was a whole weird night.
Now, that's as encouraging. Um, they do say a lot of times the recorders that are like really old. Okay, these things are really getting upset that I'm not listening to them. It was like, I want to talk. Listen to me.
Listen to
It
me.
says we're boring.
Oh.
But anyway, ooh, got a little lightheaded there. What was I saying?
You were talking about recorders, the older recorders.
Oh, the older recorders, they say those work better. I don't know if that's true.
I have an Olympus that I've had probably for 20 years, and I always did great EVPs. I notice a lot of people have been using their cell phones, but no one's come back with their cell phone recording on it with any EVP so far. So I don't know. I know one of my friends, they used to have the old cassette tape
Yeah.
recording and they swore by it. So I then, like I
Hmm.
told you earlier, there's no wrong. Like it's all about like you with the cat balls. I believe, like we were talking about energy earlier. Sometimes if you believe enough in stuff, I think you pushing energy helps the
Yeah.
spirits too to use it because there's certain equipment that I don't really care for. And
I
let's see.
swear, Bob. I swear to Bob. Literally right now, I swear to Bob. My next question I was going to ask you was, what is your least favorite piece of equipment?
Okay.
Since I'm sending my brain over to you, apparently.
And
Let's
it's
just
no
put it in.
secret. I don't care about saying it. I'm not saying it's bad. It just I don't like it. Is I don't like the rim pod. It's just very noisy and
Yes.
it just you're in the middle of an EVP session talking, then it and you're like it just disturbs. It seems like it disturbs the whole energy of the room and atmosphere. I don't know. It's my personal. Someone else chiming in? I don't
Like
like it either.
it sounded like something like was walking, but I don't think there's anything out there. Hold on, let me double check. Nope. It sounded like somebody was like walking up the stairs out here, but there's nobody there. I have
Oh,
the
that's
camera.
funny.
But what do you think that in certain circumstances, like what if you're not doing an EVP session?
Oh, well, for rim pod?
Yeah.
No, I just
What if
okay.
it's like one of those, like I use my cat balls for yes, no?
I've never used a cat ball. People have used them with me, and I wouldn't use them because I'm afraid bump tables and all that. Like you're saying, you're not near that. Went off.
Yeah.
But I've done on investigations where people brought them, and I can see it
Yeah.
that no one touched the table, and they started going off.
So
I'm
that's
like,
where I learned about it.
yeah, that's where I'm like you. When I watch people's YouTubes or the TV shows, I always leery of it. Maybe the person like that are the stars of the show aren't doing it, but how do I know the cameraman didn't bump something? Because when
Yep.
you're in the zone, you're not paying attention to other stuff. You're watching stuff. You might not even notice that maybe the cameraman bumped it. He's not going to say nothing because you're
Yeah.
filming. Or
Yeah. And it
not the
might be the person that
cameraman,
happened.
the mic guy.
Yeah. There's a boom mic. What movie is that? There's a boom mic in the frame and it's like a big problem. Oh, Bolt. The little dog movie, Pixar.
Yeah.
And then there's a boom mic and he's
Yeah.
this big ordeal.
Or
But,
I haven't watched it in a while.
I know me neither. I don't know why that just popped into my head, but let's see here. So whatever. Okay. So I don't know what rules there are, but are there any new products in the works that we could know about?
I actually got our website up. I was looking to see. I do know there's something big coming, and
That's what she said.
I haven't. That's what she said. That's funny. I was going to say that too. That's what she said.
I am telling you, I have been on point for a week, like freaking people out. It's been interesting.
That's awesome. This is you're connected with other people's energy in that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not on the site yet, but there is something coming that's going to do. It's going to be almost without giving it all away. It's going to be one device that does everything. It seems. And this thing's been in. Sean's been working on this for probably 5-6 years. It's been his baby, but when Sean comes up with an idea, some of the stuff is you might not have the technology or the chips or the stuff that he wants to use. So Sean's biggest thing, like I told you, he wants to make sure it's pinpointing what we're trying to search for.
Yeah.
And it's not, I know people are like, well, how do you know it's a ghost? It's not that it's a ghost. It's pinpointing what he knows, the theories that a spirit can set off maybe, but it's going to pinpoint what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If you're hunting for a deer and you're walking in the woods, you're only going to want to bait that sucker with a call of a deer or some deer piss, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You're not going to go out there and go and expect to get a deer. I feel like that's it. Or you want to start your car, you don't grab the wrong car key.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
that's
cards
the
you
biggest
need.
thing. And that's the biggest thing with what Sean's doing. It's not so much that he's building the perfect ghost hunting point, but he's building stuff that's actually supposed to do what we're trying to use it for. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I like, because I feel like sometimes I am very skeptical, which is really, to me, I feel like it is very ironic that I am still skeptical.
I'm still skeptical about stuff.
I know the equipment that you guys are putting out and you guys are making, you're making it as accurate as possible. You're not making equipment just to have a good time. You're making equipment to actually get what's actually there, not just because you want to do a party trick or some stupid crap.
Yeah, it's not gimmicks.
Yes.
That's why sometimes people ask me about the apps.
Mhm.
And like I said, the one app I told you is like the Ovilus. It does the words and sentences. I
Yep.
see people use it, and it's been on point with equipment going off. So I'm like, does it? But the biggest thing about apps is they can be coded very easy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And when people have their phone and they're taking EMF reads, I'm like, how, EMF sensor. I
Yeah.
mean,
So that's where I like mine, like it has some of that whatever in it, but I only use it. And I think what I do find interesting is I do get more coherent and they actually make sense. And it'll be things like I had one that, that I was arguing. I had that morning, I had an argument with somebody in the house. And then that night I came out to record and the thing was popping. It was like fight. And then like topic, like what was going on. And it was like,
yeah.
don't be sad. And I was like, okay.
You know what I worry about too about apps? Have you ever been like talking with somebody and then all of a
An
sudden you go on your
advertisement comes up.
computer? Yeah, and all the advertising, what you were talking about. I wonder if they can do an app like that. Like you're asking certain questions and all of a sudden it triggers certain words in the app that all of a sudden start coming up, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Yeah. Cause I've tried to do things and I try to be pretty skeptical and try to weed things out. But I've even brought a person in who'd never been in here before.
yeah.
And that was the first time I'd ever actually intentionally tried to talk to someone. And it came through. I didn't understand any of what it was saying, but she knew exactly what it was. And that's
Oh,
just
that's funny.
dangerous. But it was, and then what's weird was I had her in here twice. And then 2 weeks later, I did a spirit box session and she always sits on one side of me and everything. And the thing was asking about her. It was like, where is she? And then I was like, who? And it says,
Huh.
beside you. And it said her name. And I
Now,
was
now,
like, okay.
yeah, see, now that's cool.
Some of them I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yes. And that's why I tell people just like you being still skeptical, I'm still skeptical about stuff. And that's the best part. I always tell people you got to try to be on that fence still,
Mhm.
because once you sway to where everything's paranormal or you're always swaying that nothing's paranormal, you're technically contaminating your own investigation then.
Yeah.
I always tell
It's
people
the same
trying to stay on the
reason.
fence, stay skeptical.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, even if you have evidence, question everything.
Yeah.
I
And the
mean,
biggest thing is have different pieces of evidence doing like EMF, just the bell going off or something. If you have different things going off and then you get an EVP, or like you said, your friend was there, it actually said
mhm.
her name and stuff. You're not trying to convince me. I already sit in dark places
Oh,
talking to myself.
and I would like to point out that she also does not have a normal name. She is the only person I have ever met with her name.
See, now that's cool too, because
Yeah.
like when I've gotten on a spirit box, Bob, I'm like,
Yeah, but
that's
everybody's
pretty
Bob.
common.
I've had mine when I went to Ashmore Estate. Yeah, I was going to bring it up earlier when you said that was a weird voice. When you were talking about sending the girls for the creepers.
Yes.
So at Ashmore, apparently in the boiler room, they don't like women. There's a guy that doesn't like women being in there.
Okay.
So they sent all the women in there. And what was interesting was is he hit record and he just left us in the room. And he goes, ask it whatever you want, whatever, and then we'll play it back when I come get you. And we're like, okay. And I didn't say anything for most of the time. I just let them ask the questions or whatever. And I just chimed in one time and I was like, is there anything that you want to say? And that's it. And that's all I said. And then I backed out. When we went back out and he played it back, all these girls were asking all these questions and it was nothing. The one question I asked, you couldn't understand what it said, but there was clearly a man saying something
Yeah.
right after I asked my question and then silence. They kept asking questions, no response. It only wanted to talk to me.
That's awesome.
It was really weird. Then what gets even better is I think it might be in my social media stuff. I'm not sure. But so later he went down and he put the recorder down there and he turned it on and he's thank you for letting the girls come down here. Did you like the girls being down here or whatever? And everybody else had these simple names, Sarah or whatever. And this thing, when he played it back, it was like mumble, but then it sounded like it said my name.
I haven't gotten up. Robin keeps telling me and Sean we got to come out there.
It was good. I really liked it. It wasn't as active. I didn't pick up on as much stuff as I normally do. And we didn't have a lot going on. What is your favorite place that you've investigated?
Oh, God, let me think. Oh, you know what it was?
Four and 7 years ago.
Yeah, one of my favorite places. It wasn't so much that it was haunted. I'm still working on some footage of it. It was called, it's in Tennessee. It was called Hales Bar Dam. It's closed now. It's right near Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, which that location is really awesome too. But the night we were there, 2 nights. And the second night we were there, they had a storm hit while we were inside to where they were telling people to go home because there were tornadoes. And we were down below dam that had tunnels. The tunnels started getting water. We had like ankle deep water in the sewers. And Tina actually had to leave. She went to go sit out in the car because something was kind of coming at her. She called them crawlers. They down to the ground on all four. They tore it. And they make a noise. And the reason they bother her is because they can see. I was going to tell you that too, that why you might get bothered too is you're like the light in the dark because they can see it. And they come. It's not so much that they're attacking you, but they want to come to you because
it's like a moth in a flame.
Yes. And all I know is we stayed in there. She goes, no. So I go, should we leave? I was like, no, I'll just go sit in the car, allow that location. And then my friend went to go sit there out there. Next thing you know, we're down below and well, that's like a damn horn beeping. I went, oh crap. So we come up from underneath the tunnels and I hear, so we come out and my friend was sitting with her and he's sensitive. And she said something landed on the hood. She could see the crawler thing was looking at her. And my friend was like petrified. I don't know.
Oh.
I couldn't see it, but I felt the vehicle move like something landed on it. I was like, really? And me, I'm all like, I want to see this stuff. And she was we left then. But it was just such a, I don't know, it just felt creepy. Oh, at one point too, my friend goes, dude, you got to go down to the next level. I'm like, why? You can't walk in there because it's like almost knee deep water. I'm like, all right, well, just go down there and put your light, look around in the room. I'm like, all right. So I go down there. I'm looking around. Also, I'm like, what the hell? There's a red balloon floating from the movie It. That first thing that the new movie had just come out. I'm like, no, shit. I did no picture. I videoed it. I went up. I'm like, are you screwing with me? He goes, no. I was freaked out when I saw it because I'm not very superstitious, but he is more superstitious than I am. And he just saw it was like a sign. And I'm like, but yeah, you can't get in there no more, but it was just you're in an old dam and it's just cool down in these tunnels. And there was weird shit going on. I got behind on evidence because you know how this is with kids.
Oh yeah.
Life got in the way. But now that like I told you, I'm coming down to that Dark Realms TV, I'm going through the footage. And it's cool going through footage again because I've already caught a woman's voice yelling help while Tina and her friend Teresa, she's Teresa Lynch. She's a psychic medium. They were doing a psychic thing together with just a light on the table and I was filming it. And in the middle of filming it, they're talking about this woman and you hear, it sounds like yelling down the one tunnel, like a woman yelling help.
Oh,
I get so excited. This is the biggest thing when you investigate. You probably feel this.
Yeah.
When you get a piece of evidence, you're sitting there for an hour with nothing. Then you get that evidence that makes you want to go out again. And
Yeah.
we're
And
gonna get more.
you just get a
It's
little
addicting.
taste. Yes. And sometimes it's really frustrating too because I haven't had a lot. Like I come out here and I do spirit box sessions out here and stuff, just because it's here and I can do it. And they've actually been very co- cooperative.
Yeah. And that's the thing I tell people that. People always like you're asking me my favorite. I, I always tell people like, oh, when I tell them I investigate like little places, they're like, oh, why wouldn't you go to the big I go, because there's stuff happening everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been in little like theaters, like a community theater with weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
Some of it was more the girl that was leading us that let us in there. She was starstruck. She thought we were ghost hunters or part of ghost hunters. And she was very adamant with me and my buddy of everything,
That's
like
funny.
very on top of us. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny thing. We had to go under this thing. It was called the dungeon. You had to crawl underneath the stair thing. We're like, yeah, let's go down there. We're in the dark. My buddy's in the front. She's in between us. We're crawling. I put my flashlight to see where I'm going. And I know she has to know. Her whole pants are all down. You can see her thong. And I'm like, butt's hanging out.
Yeah.
And then she asked us, we're in the dark. And she goes, we're talking about, because we had met Stephen Tango and stuff. And all of a sudden she goes, I would so Eiffel Tower Stephen Tango. And I'm like, in the dark, oh my God, what did I say? And the guy, my friend that was investigating, he was only like 19. We get outside and he goes,
What's an Eiffel Tower?
what does she need Eiffel Tower in? So I talked to her out and he's, oh. I'm like, yeah, that's why I didn't say nothing. We just stayed quiet. I was like, is there anyone that wants to communicate with us? So,
Oh, that is funny.
but yeah, I had a lot of weird things over the years.
And I feel like, especially with you, if you have your wife with you, everywhere you go potentially is a place to investigate. Because I tell people all the time, I'm like, everywhere I go is a haunted place.
Yeah.
Everywhere, every job I've had, every house I've lived in, everywhere I go, something weird happened. So it's easier for me to just be like, oh, I could just go to a place and I could tell you whether or not there's something in there. And then I'm like, oh, well, why don't we just set up our crap here?
Yeah.
And there's some places where there's all this stuff and all this activity and all this stuff normally, but I'll walk in and I'm like, no, not
Yeah.
today.
They don't want to talk. And like you were saying earlier, things like that happen. The spirits they have personalities.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I say, if a location's been investigated. As a spirit, if I was a spirit there, at some point I'd be, listen, I'm not a trick monkey here to do an act for you. You know what I mean? Or you've been like this, where you just don't feel like doing something one night. You just want to be lazy.
Yeah.
A spirit can be
You're
like
like,
that.
bro. Like,
Yeah. I'm just
trying
chilling
to sit here and chill, yo. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just chilling.
And then there's other nights they're all crazy. Yeah, let's party.
Exactly. And it just, to me, it amazes me that it can be so different so often. And so I encourage people all the time, just keep trying. Don't
Yeah.
give up on it. Just because it doesn't happen the first, second, third. Like newsflash, these 1 hour shows that you're watching where stuff's happening, they're really probably filming for a week to
Well, I
get
can
1 hour.
I can tell you a lot of that's the thing I tell people too. When we're doing a location, it's been on TV. I go, you have to understand that evidence, the 15-minute episode, the evidence they got, they could have been there 3 days to a week, sometimes 2 weeks to come back because they didn't get enough evidence. I go, so I try and tell people it's not a music park ride. What you saw on TV might not going to happen. But I always tell people when I'm a guest investigator and they paid to come to an event, I always tell them, I go, the one thing I hope you walk away with is you learn something, how to use equipment, how to do this, or a theory I was talking about. You know what I mean?
But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh, this was awesome.
I've been dying to have you on for a long time. I'll have to have you on again so we can get more into actual experiences and stuff.
Yeah,
I
definitely
know
just
I
hit
was
me
kind
up.
of like whoring out your equipment there. Sorry, not sorry. I guess it's free advertising.
John, don't mind me. That's what my thing is. That's why he likes me going with him. I'm the talker.
That's what people say about me, only I'm a one-man band when it comes to the podcast. Shit.
There you go.
But
That's
seriously,
good though.
yeah, everybody out there, if you are at all interested in investigating and you need to have equipment and you want equipment that's going to be accurate and not just some hoaxy game thing, Seriously, check him out. So in my description, I'm going to put all his links because he was a good little boy and he filled out the thing. They're all going to be down below. So definitely go check it out. I've had the spirit box I have a hard time with, but that's any spirit box. So it's nothing with that. It's just I have issues. And then there was like a temperature thing that you had that I use. I've got a recording thing. I have oh my gosh, your battery pack. Fantastic.
Yeah, those work great.
Oh my gosh, fantastic. It is a lifesaver, especially whenever you have a lot of activity. Not only does your equipment go off, it also drains everything out.
Yes.
So it is very nice. I've even had to where I've charged it fully. And by the time I plug my stuff in, like they had even drained some of the battery out of the battery pack.
Which is pretty crazy because those things are pretty powerful.
Yes. And like it'll be like 1 or 2 notches down before I even get to it and nothing's been plugged in. But I also have your little GoPro camera
Oh,
thing.
yeah. The Phasm camera.
Anyway, yeah, say we'll wrap because I'm gonna have a chat with you. And then actually I gotta start getting ready because I'm getting ready to go hand out candy with my niece.
Oh, that Halloween night.
Just-
Happy
yes.
Halloween.
This is gonna come out for a while, but happy belated.
Yeah, happy belated Halloween.
Yeah. But I gotta go get all that stuff done. So we'll wrap this up. Thank you again, Bob. I'm gonna try to have you on again. Everybody, just go check them out, especially TikTok. Until next time, everybody.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
having me. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and give the show a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show and allows people to find us more easily. Also, head on over to www.patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy and subscribe to any of the tiers. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shoutouts on the pod, ad-free episodes, access to the private Discord server, quarterly appreciation gifts, and a chance to be on the show. Not to mention video versions of the episode. Before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some self-designed merch by me, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please send them to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experiences on a listener episode. Just make sure that you specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show and let me know whether or not you would like your real name read or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you guys all again so much for your support. Until next time, my friends. See ya.